Hello, everybody, and welcome to I guess you could say this is kind of a version of Chaos and Creation in Kit's backyard. Of course, we're not outside. I've put up a background here so we can pretend that we're in my backyard and that it's still warm and summer and that kind of thing. But decided had to do a last minute thing here because it's rather a big day, isn't it? It's like Christmas, early Christmas, because wow, did we have a big day today. The release of the Beatles, billed as the Beatles' last single. And I think it's safe to say everybody had a pretty exciting day today. And we have some special guests here tonight because we had some, other people that wanted to talk about this today. So I thought we'd have just a brief show tonight and just get our initial impressions of this gift that we were given today. And I think everybody knows the gentlemen that are here today. Well, first of all, I'm Kit O'Toole. You know me from Talk More Talk and Toppermost of the Poppermost. And why don't actually, just for a bit of a change, why don't I let you guys introduce yourselves? So Chip, why don't I start with you?
Hi, Chip Madinger from St. Louis,
Mhm.
co-author of Lennonology and Eight Arms to Hold You.
Indeed. All right, Ken.
I host a syndicated Beatles radio show that's been on the air for 41 years called Every Little Thing. And I also co-host another Beatles podcast besides the one that I do with you, Kit, Talk More Talk. There's Things We Said Today. And I have my own YouTube channel, which is just Beatles content called Ken Michaels Radio.
Indeed, a legend in the Beatles community, as we've said many, many times. And Andy.
Hi, everybody. It's Andy Nicholes, co-host of the Paul McCartney solo podcast, Two Legs. And happy to be here with all you tonight to give our initial kind of first reaction take to the single. And is it November 1995 or November 2023? I don't know. Kind of same kind of feeling.
It really, I mean, it's like a flashback, right? And of course, we invite all of you that are watching to let us know what you're thinking. I think there have been some tears shed today. I think there, and all kinds of reactions. And by the way, we invite all kinds of reactions, whether you liked it, whether you weren't as crazy about it. We want to know everything. So the single drops today, and you at long last get to hear Now and Then. So let's jump into it. Initial reactions. So Andy, start with you. You put it on. What do you think?
Yeah, well, just waiting, counting the minutes down, like that old countdown clock. I loved it. I knew the demo. Obviously, I knew the demo. I had the demo in my collection as a Lennon. I knew it, so I knew the song pretty well. So I wanted to hear how they were going to make it a little bit different. And obviously, with the trailer coming out yesterday, you could hear a little bit more of how it was going to go, that isolated Lennon vocal. So I absolutely, in short, I love it. I think it's a different kind of Beatles song. It's not like Free as a Bird and Real Love. It's a little bit different than that. It has the vibes of this is the end, this is our send off, and we're riding off into the sunset vibe to it. Yes, it's a Beatles song, but not the same way as Free as a Bird and Real Love. That's my first takeaway on it. It's emotional. It's really the end. That's what I feel when I hear that song. Okay. And I love it. Yeah. I love the song.
So from the first time you heard it, like instant connection.
Instant. In fact, again, we only have the digital yet. The physical copies, as we'll get to, is tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I heard it. I played it on the computer, and then when I got into the car and cranked it up, then you hear the strings. It's a little bit better. So yeah, and then wait till we get the physical. They actually play it on a proper stereo. We'll actually hear it for real. I've probably listened to it 10 times today, and I've liked it each more with each listen.
Okay.
Just me personally.
Okay. All right. Ken, how about you? What was your first reaction when you listened to it? And we should probably add, you've heard it before. This wasn't your very first listen.
Right. There was a press event about 3 weeks ago in New York City, and we got to hear just the audio, and we got to see the video that Peter Jackson made.
Mhm.
We watched it just once.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the thing is, I love this recording. And kind of like what Andy said, there's a big difference if you're just listening to like a radio pressed to your ear or something that's not going to be the greatest quality, and then listening with headphones on where you're hearing the entire thing. And I love the song because I've been familiar with it all these years as the demo. I've always enjoyed it as a demo. The only thing that disturbed me about it was the sound quality, and there was a buzz throughout it, which I found really disturbing and annoying for a while. But I always love the melody. It's a very haunting, melancholy melody. And I love John's voice on it, especially he goes way up high in his register, very high notes. But I like what they did with the entire arrangement of the song. John's voice is totally in the clear. It just sounds so pure and strong. I love what they did there. I love the backing vocals that you hear from Paul and Ringo. When I went to this event a few weeks ago, I know they said that George played acoustic guitar on it. I don't remember them telling me that he played electric guitar, because he did make a guitar solo, which I guess they felt wasn't good enough, because Paul redid it and did it more in George's style. But now they're saying, if you look at the Beatles on website, George plays acoustic and electric guitar.
He opens it. He opens the song on acoustic guitar.
Yeah. Guitar is not in question. It's just that he also said electric guitar.
Well, there's a little bit of plinky plonky rhythm guitar that you hear, I think, in the second verse.
Okay.
And I figured that's what George's electric contribution was.
Okay.
I
wondered.
But all that they applied to it, the orchestration that they added is really nice. I can hear, because they said they used the harmonies from Because, Eleanor Rigby, and Here, There, and Everywhere. I can only pick out Because so far.
Me too.
Yes.
I was going to ask you guys that. Yeah, I was going to ask you, because that's easy to find, but yeah.
All right. Sun King, you can hear in there.
Really?
Definitely Sun King. There's a little bit of Free as a Bird, I think, and some of Because is what I've been able to pick out.
Wow.
Really? Wow. All right. Gotta listen to that again.
But I will tell you, the only thing really to me that was a disappointment, because I've been, very used to the demo, so that there's a whole other section of the song that they didn't use at all.
Yes.
Right. The part where he's singing,
I don't want to lose you.
Yeah.
And I always liked that part.
Me too.
But
I didn't mind that they cut that. I didn't like that. So I didn't mind that they cut that out.
it kind of bothered me because I'm so used to it that way. But he didn't finish the lyrics of the song.
No.
So maybe the thought was that Paul and Ringo would probably have to try and add something, but they did that for Free as a Bird. So I don't know why they couldn't have done something more for now and then.
A new lyric or a verse there with Paul singing it or something, kind of in the vein of Free as a Bird.
There is a little bit of that where Paul's singing, where John didn't have anything. Paul came up with a couple words, and you hear him, filling in the end of the line where John trailed off.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I thought. There were some new lines in there. I mean, not a lot.
A couple. Yeah.
Yeah, not much at all. Nothing like Free as a Bird.
No.
There was no new bridge or anything like that.
No, exactly.
But I really enjoy it. I think there was a lot of love and a lot of effort put into this thing.
Yes, there was.
This was no rush job here. This took a long time, and the fact that they had an orchestration. And, I love in the 12-minute documentary when they're talking about it, and they didn't tell the musicians what this was for.
Yeah.
They said it was one of Paul's songs.
Surprise.
Uh, yeah, but
Absolutely.
I love the harmonies. I love that you can hear Paul, and I could pick out Ringo in the harmonies there. I like the whole arrangement. I think it was very lovingly done. I just wish they could have used that extra part that was already in the demo for now and then.
Absolutely. Chip, before we get to you, just want to introduce another panelist here that just joined in, Ed Chen. He is
Hello, everybody.
well, hello. He is the host of When They Was Fab, as well as my co-host on Toppermost of the Poppermost. So welcome, welcome. We're just sharing our initial, very first impressions of Now and Then. So let me get to Chip and then Ed. So Chip, you had a number of thoughts that you had some thoughts.
I might be the dissenting opinion here.
That's okay.
I've been very familiar with the demo since Anthology, because it came out immediately after Anthology, and they've had 25 years to work on it. I just was kind of expecting a little more out of it. It's still just very simple, very basic. There's not a lot of dynamic there, just because of what they had to work with. And it's amazing what they were able to do with stripping the voice away. And but the slide guitar solo in the style of George just didn't do it for me.
I have to
George has
agree with
just
you there.
got so much feeling in a single note. He's like Gilmore. He can just make it sing, and I just didn't get that vibe off the new record. But I'm thrilled to see how everybody's so excited by it, and it's neat for all of the fans since '95 even that have come in and get to hear a new Beatles song, which isn't something you get to do every day. So
yep. I have to agree with you, Chip, on the guitar part, because I mean, but I guess, unfair to compare, I guess, George's slide guitar playing. And it was a nice sentiment, of course.
mm-hmm.
But I agree. I mean, at that moment I thought, oh, I miss George here, I mean, George
Right.
would have done such a great, guitar solo there. And but again, I appreciate what he was trying to do. I mean,
Sure.
and the sentiment, absolutely. But I kind of agree. The solo, was a little, as I said, you just really miss George there.
Sure.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. Absolutely. So, okay, Ed. So you listen to the song.
So continuing on from that, I'm not so sure just how much of a George style solo Paul was trying to play. If they really wanted to do a George style solo, they could have gotten somebody to do one. Mike Campbell is excellent at just generating something which sounds almost exactly like a George Harrison solo would sound. So, bring in a guest if that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
And there's Mark McCann who did the parts at the concert for George. So
right.
Mm-hmm.
And who was involved heavily in Free as a Bird as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
True.
despite Paul saying that, I'm not so sure that that's actually what he was going for. It was a tribute to George, but is it a George style song?
No, a tribute. I don't think it was just a tribute. I mean, so he wasn't going to, if he wanted to play slide like George, I'm sure Paul McCartney is capable of doing that exactly the same thing. He just wanted to do it his own way.
Yeah, true.
They said inspired by George.
Right.
Yeah.
Being George.
Yeah, true.
I think the chorus of the song is where the song hits you in the gut, where it kicks into it about a minute and 2 seconds in, where it kicks in, you hear Paul and John singing together. That part of the song, dead. Forget about it. Love it.
Yeah. So Ed,
it's a production masterpiece. That's the first thing I'm going to say. I don't know what everybody else has already said. There's no doubt that this is a tour de force from Giles Martin.
Mm-hmm.
The song itself, it's still a demo. It relies a little bit too heavy on sentiment, and that's not a bad thing, and that doesn't diminish the song that much, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they're trying to play off of our feelings. It's the moral equivalent of when you turn up the strings in a movie just to make people cry. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it is there.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
not
sure. Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, it's definitely pulling at the heartstrings. I
Kit,
mean,
what are your impressions of it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
so yeah, I mean, I would say, well, first of all, yeah, when John's voice comes in at the beginning and you hear that, that clear the vocal. I mean, yeah, it does. It does kind of make you go, oh, I mean, even when they played it, the day before when we heard that voice for the first time
Yes.
in the documentary, I mean, that stopped me short. I mean, and yes, kind of playing off what Ed said. Yes, it was definitely playing on our emotions when the sound dropped out, with everything else, and then you just heard his voice. I mean, they build up the suspense very well. But when you hear it in the song, it's even more like, wow. I mean, it's what a difference from the demo, right? And yeah, I mean, I really was impressed with the strings. The string arrangement. I mean, particularly toward the end where you're just thought, oh, I hear I'm the walrus in there. I hear it. I hear, and there were some nice Easter eggs like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even the count in, I just
count in from Paul. Right.
I just thought, oh, I see what you're doing there. I
Did
mean,
anybody pick up that 3 and 4 were missing?
There you go. Yes.
Oh
exactly.
yeah.
It's 1, 2, and that's it.
Yep. Oh, I didn't even think of that. You're right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah, the little, like Paul opening with the count in, and then it ends with Ringo saying that's a good one at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, there are little things like that. And then we were talking about this before you came in, Ed, the background vocals that were flown in, definitely from Because. And then
right before the slide is most noticeable.
Yeah. Yep. And I'll have to see. Somebody mentioned above where the Eleanor Rigby and okay. Yeah, James Kelman says you can hear the oohs from Eleanor Rigby and Here, There, and Everywhere during the parts, ooh, now and then I miss you. So I'll have to look at that again, listen to that again, because that's where I was trying to figure out where definitely Eleanor Rigby. I could not hear that. So, all right, I'll have to listen to that. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I can't say I got as excited about this, admittedly, as Free as a Bird, particularly. I did like that maybe a little better than this, but it was an amazing technical feat to hear John's voice the way it was. Loved the strings, loved and hearing those harmonies flown in. I did like to hear that. I loved hearing the vocals from Because and others. I just thought, wow, they are really trying to make this as Beatle-y as possible
as they can. But I think that's why, like, it's not. I see what you're saying, Kit. Where Free as a Bird was a little more exciting, but that's here we are now, almost 30 years later. It's like Paul McCartney and Ringo, but mainly Paul coming to grips with his own mortality.
Right.
This is it. This is it for us.
Yeah.
And I think that theme is pretty prevalent in the documentary. It's prevalent in this, and it's in the song too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I understand that. And Ringo sounds great, by the way. The drumming he does. I mean, it's nothing flashy, but it didn't require that. I mean, the song doesn't. It shouldn't have been flashy. He sounds solid as a rock as always. So, I'm still kind of wrestling with my feelings toward it, to be honest. I mean, I like it. I'm just not insane about it. But I'm still listening. I'm still listening to it multiple times. But I've listened to it like about 5 times.
Okay.
And I'll be listening to it more. But technically, what a feat. I mean, this
took a
village to do this. And I appreciate that.
Lonnie just sent a note here, Lonnie Pena. He says the Atmos version is incredible. So, I mean, I haven't had a chance to listen to the Atmos version because I was already off to work by the time it came out this morning, and I haven't had a chance to get back to my stereo or my AirPods. So once we get done here, I'm gonna go put on the Atmos version.
Mhm.
The second thing, I've been thinking I would really like to hear just a John and Paul version of this. Maybe piano, acoustic guitar, and John and Paul's vocals.
So kind of
A completely stripped back version. I don't know if they would do it, but
Mm-hmm.
from what's there, that might be really cool.
Yep.
Don't be surprised if you find something like that on YouTube fairly soon with today's technology.
It's already out.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. Another interesting thing about YouTube is Universal has blocked everybody that has a copy of John's original demo.
And all those fan edits too, right? They're all gone. They're down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
The Apple Jam one is gone. It was still up there the other day.
Wow.
The band Apple Jam.
I didn't look for those. I just
Okay.
looked for the Johns.
But, okay.
So all John demos
are
all
the original demo, but
now.
it is a very good copy of the demo from the lead singer.
Yep. Paulina mentions, and good to point out, in the credits that it says that Jeff Emmerich is credited as an engineer, and I'm assuming that's from the anthology sessions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like Jeff Lynne is.
Just like Jeff
Yes.
Lynne, because he wasn't involved with it this time around either.
Right. Yep. So I'm assuming, and I did notice that too, that Jeff Emmerich was credited. So yeah. So interesting to see that. And I wanted to mention Ken, because I thought that was very true, that I was kind of disappointed, although I was kind of expecting it, because I read somewhere that Paul, I'm assuming it was mainly his decision, did get rid of that, I don't want to lose you, lose you something and abuse you. Yeah. I probably didn't like the abuse you line. And I kind of missed it. I agree with you. I kind of like that line.
That's where the lyrics just sort of go da da da, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After that, where John just kind of
he just scats through it.
Sort of starts singing some random syllables.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he could have finished it, but I don't know. I mean, and we were talking, I think, before you came on, Ed, that that Paul did, contribute a few lines, but not much. There were a few, but yeah, I kind of missed that line too. That was a choice, but I kind of expected it, because I read that somewhere that was going to happen, that he was going to get rid of that.
Like with Free as a Bird, Paul and George added lines that weren't there in the original demo. I wish they could have, finished that part of the song of Now and Then. And it made it even more special. Made Free as a Bird more special for me. But it is kind of interesting. If you go to that 12-minute documentary, they really drive home the point. You keep hearing the last Beatles song, and that's the campaign for it too. It's on billboards.
Yeah,
the last Beatles song. That without John, they wouldn't call it the Beatles. So you had to have all four Beatles on the record. And the thing is, me being as liberal-minded as I am when it comes to the Beatles, where there's so many recordings the Beatles released that didn't have all four of them on it and still went out as the Beatles, it wouldn't have bothered me in 1995 if Paul, George, and Ringo recorded a song or a few songs entirely new and John wasn't on it, and it still goes out as the Beatles. But how Paul, George, and Ringo feel, especially since it's all these years since they broke up, and John doesn't have a say in the matter. You want him represented in some way, that they all felt that all four of them have to be on it. So, some people might think, why can't you take a George Harrison song and then, an unreleased George Harrison song and do something with that? Well, because how is John going to be on it then?
right.
So in order to have, a Beatles song, a true Beatles song, as Paul, George, and Ringo would have wanted, and to have John represented in some way, you have to have all four of them.
Exactly. And I did love hearing, I mean, because yes, those, Real Love and Free as a Bird were John's demos, because of the technology at the time, John's voice couldn't quite be front and center. Here, my God, I mean, he is front and center, and it is really cool to hear that. I mean, how much more present he is in this recording.
You know what doesn't make any sense to me, and I just was thinking about this. They keep talking about the fact that, yes, the demo was John's voice and the piano, and it's obviously a mono recording. And the problem with that is that maybe there are sometimes the piano was a little too loud or something. But if you ever wanted to, without the new technology, boost up John's vocal, well, you got to boost up the piano too at the same time. You have no control over that. They don't make any mention about the buzz or any of the, the noise that was on the demo. But why didn't they say the same thing about Free as a Bird and Real Love? You still had a mono recording. You still had John and his voice and a piano. They didn't say anything about that then.
Well, you were talking about the buzz on the tape, and you can actually hear that in the 12-minute documentary. There are spots where it's just clear as bell. There's actually a version of it without the buzz. And I'm hoping that's what they finally dug out and used.
They read that
trying to.
Sean Lennon found a better copy of the tape that Yoko had given
the
them
original
back in the
tape.
day.
That's what I've read as well. That they gave that what Yoko had given them originally was like a multi-generational copy.
Sean found
the original.
Sean dug and found the real one, the first generation copy.
Oh,
what's this TV noise, which I've heard several people talk about, and Penn Jillette certainly spoke of. I didn't hear it in the 12-minute, and supposedly there's a TV which was of sufficient volume to interfere with the recording.
Oh yeah,
Chip?
I think Penn Jillette mentioned that. That's right. I forgot
Anything
about
on
that.
one, Chip?
I'm not familiar with what Gillette had to say.
Yeah, he said something. Well, and he did get some details wrong for sure.
Yeah.
He might have just heard the buzz on the demo vocal and thought, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like an ungrounded RCA jack or a TV too close to the mic.
Apparently what Giles said to him was that, after we went through this, we got this many tracks. We have one track which is John's voice, we got one track which is the piano, we've got one track which is just the hum, and we got one track which is just the TV. So he was, whatever he's saying is there was some difference between the hum and the quote TV noise, unquote.
Yeah. And boy, you really tell from that documentary. Now you hear the end result. I mean, that buzz was so prominent in that recording. So that just shows you what the Mal technology can do. Is boy, not a hit of that buzz in this final version. I guess
he had the TV off when he did Free as a Bird and Real Love.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he must have. That's right. So
where did you hear about Sean having a better quality copy?
I read that in an article.
I think it was in that Rolling Stone article.
Yeah.
Okay.
I read it today, and when an article published in one of the musical websites that Sean found a better copy and gave it to them.
They had to have used the better copy, because there was no way to notch that buzz out successfully.
No, let's be honest. Jeff Lynne's a pretty skilled guy. If he couldn't do it in 95 and nobody was doing it.
No. Oh, the technology wasn't there.
No.
I mean, period. Yeah.
So I'm sure he tried his damnedest to fix that one in 95. It just wasn't going to be possible given the deterioration of the tape back then.
Yep. Exactly.
And Andy and I read it independently, so it's not like we're quoting the same source.
Yeah, and I saw it. I forget. I mean, there's been so many articles in the last day or two about this, the video, the Peter Jackson stuff, the 14 hours from 95, which that was a highlight of the trailer of the documentary, seeing all that anthology era footage that we have not seen before.
Wouldn't we just take the 16-hour?
Yeah, that.
16-hour
14 hours supposedly.
Yeah, that.
Whatever it is. Yeah, 14
that.
hours. Yeah.
Let's have more of that, please.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's your bonus material for the new anthology release. Peter Jackson needs to take it and build a mini get back out of that footage.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And just one thing. So you were talking about how this advertising campaign this is the last Beatles single. Compare it to what Ringo says at the end of Anthology. We weren't sitting around saying this is the last take. This is the last photo session. This is the last this is the last that. It's like, yeah, and now it is, huh?
Yep. Exactly.
Kit, what did you go for formats for physical?
Yep, I was talking about that with the Chip before you guys came on. So I ended up with, for the single, I got the 45, with the blue vinyl. I just thought I loved just that looked
The
very
marbled
cool
or the regular blue?
the regular blue.
Okay.
Yep, regular blue. And then I caved finally and got the Target exclusive. I mentioned to that Andy and Tom last night. Like, I did it. I caved. I got it. And so, and for now, I'm just getting the CDs of the red and blue albums. So I've decided for now. Now,
The one with the slipcase or the regular or the two separate ones?
the two separate ones.
Okay.
But who knows? You know, I may cave. Who knows?
That damn 10-inch Spotify one. That's the only one I didn't get.
Yeah, I heard
didn't
that
get it
sold out.
either.
Yeah,
You
I
didn't get
heard
it?
that sold out fast.
Damn.
Yep.
One went quick. But-
Yep.
Yep,
So-
we'll see. Physical sales begin tomorrow, so head to your Target for those red vinyl.
Yep. Yeah, I ordered mine. Is like, I'm not gonna have time to run to different Targets and all that, so I ordered it. But yeah, it's you know, I finally thought it's the last Beatles song, so I better do it.
Yeah. No, did you see pictures of the? Did you see pictures in New York City of all the billboards with all the promotional flyers everywhere in New York today? I don't know if you guys saw that on any social media or in the big markets. They just wall to wall with the white with the cassette. I don't know if you saw that, Ken. Yeah.
I saw a picture of it, what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it was gonna be, there was gonna be a big push for this and a lot of advertising, and wow.
The stuff in
right.
Liverpool, that's really cool, where they projected the tape on all of the landmarks.
That was cool.
Yes, that was
And
very
in
smart.
Liverpool at the HMV, they actually had a midnight release. You could go at midnight to the HMV in Liverpool, and they were going to sell it at midnight at 12:01.
You know, they did that with Anthology.
I did.
Yes, they did.
I did that stuff. I went to Borders and all, and I was
Borders.
Yep, that's right. I went to Borders. Yeah, I went to Borders for the first Anthology album, and they were giving out free posters of the Anthology 1 artwork. And years later, I then took it to Beatlefest and had Klaus Forman sign it. That's one of
Nice.
my prized possessions.
Wow.
So who's going to tackle the elephant in the room and talk about the artwork?
Not me.
Okay, terrible.
Yeah.
Oh crap, we forgot to do a picture sleeve. There are so many talented fans out there that have come up with some fantastic ideas, and just to look at what they are actually issuing, you know, I was kind of holding out that it was a placeholder, but it looks like that's the real deal.
No, it's the real deal. Yeah, there's a picture. Ringo did a brief video.
Right.
And he was
right.
holding the single, like, nope, that's not a placeholder. Yeah, very odd. You just thought, wow, they could have come up with something a lot better than that. And as you said, fans have come up with better than
Heck
that.
yeah.
I mean, just crazy. But I also though want to bring up the flip side of this single, which is of course "Love Me Do," the version with Ringo on drums. And if you guys have had a chance to listen to that, what do you think of the new mix?
I actually haven't yet. I've been listening to Now and Then exclusively.
Really nice stereo, and it's another one that they did an Atmos mix from the mono. I again, once we get off here, I'm going to get a chance to slip on the headphones and hear what it sounds like in full surround.
Yep, absolutely.
I was more impressed with the Atmos mix of "Love Me Do" than for Now and Then, because to make a surround element out of a mono track, it's a trick, and it's just not full of reverb. I mean, they did a good job of it.
Yep. Ken, do you have had a chance to listen to it yet?
Only once, and I just thought it sounded really bright and punchy, and I thought that I heard hand claps in there that seemed to be brought up.
Yep.
Maybe I hadn't noticed before. And I like the idea that on the single that they're using the version with Ringo on drums.
Yeah.
and also driving home the point. You got the first Beatles song and then the last Beatles song on the same single. And by the way, from what I've been told on the cassette single, the handwriting for Now and Then is John's handwriting, and the handwriting for Love Me Do is Paul's handwriting.
Oh,
That's
wow.
another nice touch.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Well, I love the Love Me Do mix. I mean, wait till you hear it, Andy.
Okay.
Wait to hear it. I mean, when it comes on, as you said, Ken, bright, punchy, the harmonica just jumps out at you.
No way they were going to throw the Andy White version on the last Beatles single.
Hell no, Ringo would have had something to say about that, wouldn't he? And
Paul's bass in the Love Me Do, even in the stereo mix, it is just tremendous.
it is. I mean, everything is just crystal clear. Sounds like, I mean, it sounds like it could have been recorded, today. I mean, it just sounds like amazing. If this is an indication of hopefully box sets we're going to be getting in the future, the early stuff, we are in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
And Paul had only been playing the bass for what, 4 months at that time?
Yep, and he sounds great. I mean, we knew that, but it comes forth even more.
Even that with that warbly "Love Me Do" scared vocal.
Now he definitely you hear it now. I mean, you hear the "Love Me Do."
I'm scared, but here we are.
I mean,
you can tell that it was taken from the 45. They clearly don't have the tape. I guess they used 2 copies of the single and merged them to come up with a version that's on the set.
But it sounds good, though. I mean, they did wonders with it.
Little
But
teaser
the version that's going to be on the Red Album is still the one with Andy White, right?
I was told no.
Yes, I agree. It's the Ringo version that's going on.
The Ringo version that's going on the Red Album.
Oh, then they're changing it.
Yes.
I've also heard that the backing for "She Loves You" is a Philippe backing. I don't know. I haven't had that confirmed yet, but I've heard that. Because the original has like 500 million edits in it. Ringo's symbol just goes in and out in a couple of places, and so the only way they could fix it, again, from what I've heard, we'll see, is to use the Philippe backing.
Okay, interesting. Yes, Chris mentions here "With the Beatles" is my favorite. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that we're going to get a box set for "With the Beatles." That's shout out to Joe Mayo here, because we agree on this. The "With the Beatles" is such a great album. Again, if "Love Me Do" is any indication of the remixes that we're going to have in store for the early stuff, I can't wait. I mean, because "Love Me Do" is just, as I said, yeah, I can't wait to hear your thoughts, Andy, because this is, I love this.
Well, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go listen to it.
You gotta listen. I mean, you're going to love it. You have to, damn it.
Please me. That's the mix that I'm looking forward to. I mean, other than the "She Loves You," which is one of our holy grails, is a stereo "She Loves You." But I'm just so looking forward to please me getting that treatment.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think this is just a taste of what we're going to get. So so I'm a bit more excited about Red and Blue, now that than particularly the early stuff, obviously. So so that sounds great. So any other thoughts about Now and Then before we close this out? Chip, any other thoughts? I know you had some other things that you were saying about it.
Well, I think those are all gone now.
I know we went off in some different directions.
Yeah, I think I've made most of my points about it. I am excited to see the Atmos versions of the Red and Blue. Hopefully they'll be revealing, and they'll have known when to stop. Without trying to get too clever with them. But that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most.
I want those Blu-rays back. They've said that they're not going to be doing Blu-rays with the Atmos mixes, which does disappoint me anymore. That the last one was
it's unacceptable, Ed. I mean, with what we pay for these boxes, they can throw in a 50-cent disc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are reasons which I listen to streaming mainly because it's easier, but when I put it in the stereo, I want it in the highest possible quality, which is not the Atmos streaming because that is compressed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. Andy, any other closing thoughts on
Not just, I think it's a fitting final song, and I think it's one that's going to grow on everybody.
mhm.
As a grower, as they say, if you don't love it right away, I think you will. If you accept it for what the Beatles are and what their legacy is and what it means to everybody and the emotion that goes into it, I think you will come to like it if you are a Beatles fan. If you don't, no, you're not going to hear "She Loves You" on the last song. This is the end of the end, pun intended.
I was
And
going to say, ooh,
it is,
nicely
and I think
done.
if you accept it on those terms, you can live with the recording and and enjoy it and love it for what it is, which is how I take it.
Yep, absolutely. Ken, any closing
Well, I
thoughts?
do believe, and it seemed like Ed was skeptical when he talked about this, that this will be the last Beatles song, meaning last original Beatles song.
Yeah.
Who's to say there might be Beatles singles in the future from their?
Carnival of Light.
Mm.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but hey, you never know. Never say never. But I will say that the only thing that ever concerned me about this is that since Paul brings up so many times that the Beatles were a democracy and nothing would go out unless all four of them agreed upon it, I didn't know for sure how George felt about the song because she did hear even Paul say that George called it rubbish. So I didn't know if that meant that George didn't like the song, period, or if he just didn't like the sound quality of the demo and they couldn't really do anything with it at the time. And if you follow what Olivia Harrison said, which is on the Beatles.com, it had more to do with, the sound quality and the limitations at the time that they were working with. So if George really liked the song, and they worked on it just for a couple of days, but I guess, I can be far more comfortable with this going out because I wouldn't want there to be a song out there and George didn't really like the song at all.
Right.
So
Well, there were Beatle tracks and none spring to mind that I'm sure George wasn't as fond of.
Mm.
yeah, but everything went out with the four of them agreeing to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there were songs that the Beatles did that George wasn't crazy about,
Mhm.
Maxwell Silverhammer or,
That's
but,
exactly what I was thinking.
but if they didn't want it out, it wouldn't have gone out.
Mhm.
If they really voiced it, like, they didn't want, Paul and George didn't want What's the New Mary Jane to go out. So it didn't go, or Cold Turkey for that matter. So it didn't go out. So they either all agreed for everything that went out. They all felt that it was okay with them, or they didn't want to cause any problems, within the group. And it still went out as the Beatles. And all four of them agreed on it at the time. So, I'm content with the fact that George, at least according to Olivia, did like the song and only complained about the quality of the recording at the time of the demo.
Right.
But I think this is the best they could have done. I think it was very tastefully done. And I'm also reminded of the fact that there are a lot of young Beatles fans who were not around when they were together and not even around during the 70s and all the big compilations that came out and the Beatles anthology when that came out.
Yeah.
There's some that weren't even around when the Beatles one was so big.
Mhm.
And this is an event for them. They could actually say, I'm alive at a time when a new Beatles song is coming out. And I'm so happy for those fans. They
Yeah.
can at least feel some of the excitement that we experienced either in the 60s or discovering the Beatles later on in the later decades. And I'm so happy for the new generation of Beatle fans that are going to experience this and see a new Beatles video tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which I did see once, and I'm telling you folks, if you think that you were very emotional watching Free as a Bird, I got a lump in my throat watching this.
Oh man.
It packs a lot of punch what you're going to see tomorrow, this new video. Peter Jackson did a fantastic job.
Wow.
Mixing everything together, combining old footage with new footage simultaneously. It's a lot of stuff. And then you've heard about the whole thing about Pete Best's family submitting live footage of the Beatles that you've never seen before, which I didn't even know about when I watched it. I didn't pick
the
up
earliest known footage, video footage.
what you're saying.
That's exciting. I can't wait to see that.
I'm hoping it isn't the February 62 footage that we've seen for so long that was shot by the fan.
Oh yeah.
But
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll find out tomorrow.
I guess
We shall see.
Yep, we've got more excitement tomorrow, and so sorry we lost Ed, but I'm sure he would agree that boy, we've got an another exciting day tomorrow with the premiere of the music video. So apparently we should have our Kleenex ready as we prepare to watch that. So boy, what an exciting few days it has been. It has been like anthology, it's been a lot of fun, and unlike anthology, it's been just so nice to be able to share the joy of listening to this new single with good friends tonight. It's been such fun to do that. Oh, okay. Ed said his battery died, so he said to wish everybody well. So that's why we lost him. So thank you, Chip and Ken and Andy, for joining me tonight. I just had to talk about listening to this incredible single tonight. It was great to share with friends like you, and I just want to remind everybody that Monday night Talk More Talk will be back. And we are going to have a special guest, John Montagna, who has been with us before. He's an incredible bassist. And we are going to talk about the documentary, the video, and the song, as well as speculating a bit about the Red and Blue albums. So we will have listened to the song many more times, and we'll be able to talk a lot more in detail about the song Monday night to talk about now and then. So please join us Monday, November 6th at 9 p.m. right here on this channel. Andy, what's going on with you and Two Legs? Anything to share?
Yeah, we have an episode dropping Saturday, which is a review on the song that we just recorded earlier tonight with Mitch Axelrod, which will be dropping on our channel then, and more stuff for November as well that we're going to be doing. And obviously, so yeah, that's all the rage right now. So we've got an episode with Owen Ling where we're discussing Paul and George's relationship. That'll be a part 2. We already did part 1 of that, so that'll be also in November. So yeah, Tom, as you know, has been going mobile as Pete Townsend sings. So he's settled and looking forward to doing some more shows with him for the rest of the year.
Fantastic. And Chip, what are you up to things, or just talking about your book? And what are you up to?
I'm just watching the new dog. Just spending time with the new dog.
Oh, so, what kind of dog?
He is a Australian cattle dog and border collie and super mix. So
smart.
He's a handful.
Well, that sounds great,
but nothing Beatle at the moment.
Well, that's good. But of course, you can find Chip's book Lennonology, which is an incredible resource about all things John Lennon, and of course all of his other fantastic books. And you can find him on the website lennonology.com, right?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yes. And I will put that in the description.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Ken, I know you're always up to all kinds of things. So in addition to our show on Talk More Talk, what else are you up to?
Well, the big thing this past week, Things We Said Today celebrated our 400th episode.
Wow.
So we did a big reunion with Steve Marinucci, who started the show with me. and Al Sussman, and the two of them joined Darren DeVivo and Alan Kozin, and we looked back at our long history, picked a few of our favorite episodes, talked a lot about Now and Then and the Red and the Blue album, and also what we feel the current popularity of the Beatles is worldwide, coming from, well, 5 people who have been around many decades to observe the popularity and how it changes. And, is it peaks and valleys? Is it steady? Is it stronger now than it's ever been before? I'll tell you one thing, Now and Then's getting a ton of publicity. One thing that I said in our show is that within 5 minutes, I went to the homepage of Yahoo, and the top story each of the 3 times I went in 5 minutes was a different story about Now and Then.
Wow.
So it's like it's getting so much coverage. And then there's an article on Paul's tour in Australia. So, they're really getting a lot of publicity right now, and I'm very happy to see that. I'd like to see more television coverage of Now and Then, but there's a lot on the internet.
Yep. Absolutely.
But it was great to have Steve Marinucci and Al Sussman back on the show, and got more shows coming. I'm sure we're going to be doing a few things on anniversaries, like we're going to be doing on Talk More Talk. We got the Ringo anniversary coming up. I hope we do something for With the Beatles, and Band on the Run too. So there's a lot of things coming up on things we said today. Kind of slowing down on my own channel for the time being. Kind of taking a slight break. And I still got my Beatles trivia on my website, kenmichaelsradio.com. You now have a chance to win 2 of the 5 books that Jude Sutherland Kessler has written on John Lennon. And that, along with a whole bunch of other things like DVDs and other books and CDs, that's at kenmichaelsradio.com. So that's what's going on with me.
Fantastic. And just a couple more quick things in addition to Talk More Talk. The latest episode of Toppermost of the Poppermost will be dropping soon. That's the October 1963 episode, Side A, which is the UK charts. And then in a couple more weeks, it'll be Side B, the US charts. And so that'll be coming soon. And then this coming Tuesday, November 7th, I'll be guesting on Ken Womack's Tuesday Night Record Club. We're going to be talking about Fleetwood Mac's 1975 album. Really excited about that. That's, of course, the first one that Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks joined the band. And that's what a classic, right? So we're really looking forward to doing that. And so we're going to be going through the album, telling you behind the scenes stuff, playing some demos, outtakes, all kinds of things. So it's free. You just have to register. And I think I have that info on the Talk More Talk page, a Facebook page. So all you have to do is register. So hope to see you there. So I think that's it for all of us. So enjoy this great time we're having. What a time to be Beatles fans. And hope you enjoy the video tomorrow. As Ken said, have that tissue handy. It's going to be emotional.
They have changed the time of the video. They bumped it up an hour in the US.
Okay, what time is it now?
It's 8 a.m. Central. So it'll be 9 your time, Andy.
Okay, well.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So mark your calendars, 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. So set your alarms. All right.
And watch it all day.
Yes.
And of course, yes. But if you want to be there for just the very first time it premieres, that's when you need to see it. So thank you everybody for joining. I will be reading your comments afterwards. But let's enjoy this moment. So for Chip, Ken, and Andy, this is Kit saying, now and then we get these wonderful moments. So thanks everybody.